Welcome back, my beautiful, beautiful students, to this week's Extra Credit. I am your hatted Professor Ricky. This hair has become actually insane, so I'm getting into hats now recently. But today we're going to be talking about arguably my favorite episode of Tower of God to date, episode 9. This one better be a banger. Where we are when we start is already tense, and it's tense for a very particular reason, because in the last episode, if you remember, my analysis was there was already the airs of betrayal occurring. You know, the characters already seemed as if they were prepared to do anything to get what they want at the top of the tower, and it already was kind of alluded to betrayal. And this episode's central theme is betrayal and personal philosophy, and it's done so well. So we start with Endorsi basically attacking her own teammates' fishermen. She's ensuring she's the only one. That's cold. That's really cold. Wow. Can I really blame her, though? Can any of us really? After Kun went nuclear on his whole team last time just to give Bomb the edge in passing because he wants to go to the tower with Bomb, the same way Endorsi later says she wants to go to the tower with somebody now. She wants to climb with somebody. And it's fantastic the way that they already kick off this episode, because her betrayal seems very cut and dry, right? She is just attacking her own teammates. It's very pointed. It's very specific. There's no big brain about it. It's just she made sure that all the fishermen in her plan are at the bottom of this playing field, so she would have access to kick their ass. So, kick their ass, she totally does. Turns out, actually, one of them down there had an ignition weapon. What is that? Is that an ignition weapon? Wait, what? Again, Bomb still stands. Okay. I stand wholeheartedly corrected. Which makes me think, obviously, there are more ignition weapons out there that are made by other people besides that special blacksmith that made that series of weapons, I guess, considered stronger than the others. So, despite one of these guys having a very strong weapon and shoots a green-looking Shinzu-ish blast at Bomb and Endorsi, basically, she tanks it, and I thought Bomb did too. Dead wrong. Turns out he hits the deck, and then we get a nice little flash over to Hots and a couple spear bearers on the stairs. And Hots says to these guys, look, here's the plan. I'll go along with y'all. I will be the one to toy with the rancor, and you guys hide in the shadows and finish him off with a spear bearer attack. Just you guys double team him. We get a good, awesome battle between Quant and Hots. And Hots is clearly being overpowered, but he's also demonstrating some serious skill. He then, gets his ass kicked. Let's not beat around the bush. He gets his ass kicked. But then the reveal happens. Hots, my dude. No. Where's the spear bearers? No. They cucked him hard. No. I hate that. Oh. You pieces of shit. And then the moment the Spear Bearers can come in and double team him, they run. They betrayed Hots. But this one is just petty. There is no higher level. It's purely for the perception of survival. So they run. They're like, dude, that was a sick-ass plan. And then Quant immediately catches up to him and kicks their ass, and he's pissed off about that. And we're just seeing betrayal left and right at varying degrees. We cut back to Bomb, and we do in fact see his reaction to the betrayals. Rule breaker Bomb. You stand your fucking ground, Bomb. I love it. I love it. He's saying, I will not do this. I will not play this way. My philosophy states that I don't want to hurt my team to climb this tower, and I don't intend to do it to Rachel either. Basically, the way a lot of these characters, Ho and Dorsey, and even some of the Spear Bearers we just saw, they all have their own physical philosophies played out on screen. Hots is a guy who would make the sacrifice play. These Spear Bearers are just pettily running away and betraying, just totally out of preservation of self. In Dorsey, we got a little snapshot of her history about how she was taken in by fallen noble family. One of the 10 families, by the way. She drops that name, and that should not go unnoticed, because that is important for the life outside of the tower. There are families, they are nobles, and what this particular family did, as she explained, they will take in orphans to battle and compete against each other so they can eat better. Higher marks gets a lavish full-course meal, and really low marks get stale bread. And it's clear she was talking about there once was a little girl, blah, blah, blah. No, it was clearly her. And then you get a scene that is pretty grotesque. She got good. That was me, you dunce. What? She says, I never had to eat stale bread again. In fact, I got to eat all the food myself. And you see a litany of dead bodies everywhere. She has been cool with betrayal since day one, and that in her brain as a character is strength. Willing to stab anyone in the back to get ahead, because she never wants to go back to live in that stale bread life. And in the face of that, that's when Bomb's saying, no, I will not. I cannot. This is not who I am. So, we then cut to Ho, who makes his way to Rachel and says, I want to just talk to you about you and Bomb. After a small exchange, he does something that at this point in the episode shouldn't be too surprising. Ho's really gone pretty cold in this competition. What? He's got a knife to Rachel's neck, and he reveals a very interesting piece of data, if you will, that I have been looking forward to understanding since we heard it. What we hear is the inside of the letter that Ho received a couple episodes earlier, and the contents read, if Rachel dies, Bomb dies. If Rachel is taken out of the picture, Bomb can't climb the tower. Really interesting stuff, because at this point in the episode, I don't know if there is some kind of metaphysical linking, or there's more of a emotional one that has been revealed to another character to try to leverage that into getting ahead. But Ho's betrayal was the only one that I could see happening. I just never expected it to happen so quick, and to Rachel no less. So we get this very tense showdown when Quant comes in, seeing Ho knife to Rachel's neck, and then Bomb staring down this entire scene. He then says, "What are you doing? What is going on?" And Ho starts asking the same thing. What is going on? I didn't expect you all to be here. And it hits them all at once. That the letter was meant to set him up. It was meant to betray him. This whole episode is totally like along the lines of my analysis for the future. Again, I watched these episodes fresh. I didn't see episode 9 before I recorded immediately. And I'm shocked at how well this show basically leads the audiences to have a small inkling of a possibility of what the future holds for the show, and then immediately give it to you in such a satisfying way. So we have this weird confrontation, Quant on one side, Bomb on the other, and then Rachel and Ho in the middle. Bomb is preparing a Shinzu blast as a wave controller to try to take out Quant, or basically he's getting ready to fight and try to protect Rachel. In that preparation, he is rushed by Quant, and we get to see a new super cool use of Shinzu. That might have been a bad move. Ah. He showed him how to stop him. This episode is whack, dude. I love it. He says, I have to go after the it. But if you want to do something about it, I just showed you how. Do something about it. And then immediately, he's ready to kind of face Ho after Quant is now going after the Yit. Rachel pushes him off, and they're tussling. He still has the knife, and before Bomb could get to him, there is an accidental, from what it looked like, stabbing in the back of Rachel. Just after this incident, Bomb uses the rancor technique immediately after being exposed to it. And I mean immediately. He did it. On the fly. Touches him, boom, paralyzed, Ho falls. Rachel is bleeding out. Ho expresses a lot of anguish and what I find is a very beautiful, kind of sad almost, admission of emotion from the character. And what we see is Ho giving up. He betrays his own ambition by stabbing himself right in the heart, claiming he hated Bomb because he showed his power, and he couldn't stop showing off his power. Because remember, we have Endorsi ready to take out the fisherman to get ahead. We have Kun ready to take out entire teams just so Bomb gets ahead. And we have Ho willing to take out what he thought was the way to get Bomb gone, because it's clear that he's not strong as Bomb. So next best thing, go for the light bearer. Go for Rachel. Under the information that he was given, thinking it was a hot tip, but actually it was a hot setup. This episode is just so mind-blowing. How beautiful a setup. Ho is getting really kind of cold and lifeless in the way he was ready to pursue his revenge. And then someone set him up to ensure that this happened. We do end the episode with a really, really good Sakuga-filled fight between Endorsi with the ignition weapon that she took. She took that from the other fisherman and fought Quant with it, putting up a pretty decent fight, but in the end, wasn't really enough to overpower him. In this fight as well, Bomb shoots that same paralyzation technique at Quant. He manages to actually fire it instead of just touching. And to the point where Quant was like, he already mastered a rancor technique. This has been like 2 minutes. He went from exposure to mastery in 2 minutes. Bomb is to put it in the words of Ethan, he's a freaking thug lord. Like, he's clearly insanely adept at using Shinzu, and he's not afraid to use it anymore. So, a couple interesting details that I saw in this episode, outside of just the themes woven beautifully. There's at least 4 different instances of betrayal, and they could not be more different, from the pettiness of the Spear Bears to the anguishing ambition of Ho and everything in between. And then in all of that, Bomb stood his ground. I am not changing. I'm not doing this kill all to get ahead philosophy. I'm going to do things my way. And that makes for a great shonen protagonist, unwavering in the face of the world around you. You think like Gon, who basically the only time he ever snapped is when he snapped so hard that he snapped P2 in half. You have other unchanging. Naruto is the one who never gives up. Believe it. But you have this Bomb character who is willing to be the opposition of the way the world flows. And it's clear all these characters are very well adjusted to betrayal and revenge and, all of these different kind of negative but powerful emotions. They've all assumed that this is how it has to happen. They have all said at some point over the last couple episodes, this is how you climb the tower. And in the face of that, Bomb said, no, I'm going to do it my way. Loved that strength in him. That's so cool. We have Ho and we have Rachel going into what looks like some kind of medical care. So it does seem possible that they could recover. Ho probably less so. He got stabbed legit in the heart. Rachel got stabbed literally and figuratively in the back. So it's more possible that Rachel might survive this, and I think she should. However, we got a little interesting thing with our boy Rack. It's Rack time, baby. So he's out waiting, and while all this goes on, the second that Rachel gets stabbed, that other dude he was having an eating contest with, gone. Disappears, literally evaporates into thin air, and the rest of the episode you get little scenes of Rack being like, "What? Where the hell did you go? Where did he go? Did nobody see that?" And no one seemed to know. So I wonder what those two have in linking. They have the physical link that I think Ho was expecting to have with Bomb and Rachel. If you kill one, you kill the other. So I'm curious to see what happens next. This one, I gotta say, this is probably a straight 90. Like, without a doubt, a straight 90. The theme was betrayal, and it explored it in a different light throughout just 23 minutes. And I could not be more excited about where this is going now, because if this is the level of storytelling that they're now putting down in the kind of the end game, I don't know if this is going to go 12 or 24 episodes, but I like this idea that I proposed last time of, does betrayal and revenge really indicate the ability to climb the tower and not harm it? because these kinds of things would not really speak to the benevolence of someone climbing the tower, right? If they're willing to sacrifice their own teammates, would this not indicate harm? Do these things, which one of these betrayals don't actually indicate harm? I mean, Ho even said to Bomb, the unwavering protagonist, that I hated you, I wanted to beat you, but it was clear that the tower has chosen you. It's clear the tower has chosen you. And again, I think that might speak to the future of the selection process, because it's the people that seem to be defying the way everyone else assumes the tower and the world works are the ones that are going to make it. So I'm excited to see it. Straight 90. This was an absolute banger. I was hooked from second one to 23 and a half minutes, and everything in between was absolutely stout. This show's on its way to being a real classic, but thank you for listening. If you like the whole audio-visual combo, hey, YouTube gang, I'm not looking a little too put together today, but I have a lot of work to do, and hats are now my best friend. So if you want to listen with your ears and not your eyes, go check us out on Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, CastBox, or anywhere else you get your podcast fix. I will also have a PSA. Me, Ethan, and a bunch of other YouTube and podcasters in the anime space this weekend, June 5th through June 7th, we are doing Anitube Con 2020. You know, social distancing is ravaging the world, but we still wanted to come together and talk anime with all the creators that we have been working with interchangeably. We're going to have a bunch of panels. I've just been pumping out thumbnails all day. Some of the panels are going to be great. We have talking about, where is My Hero Academia going? What's up with isekais as a whole? The good, the bad, and the ugly. We have one called Gloves Off, which is basically just entire unpopular opinions. We're getting after it, and me and Ethan are on that panel, so it's going to be a bloodfest, but it's going to be a really good time, so come on by. I'm going to leave the links to Twitch and YouTube so you can watch any of the streams in the description of both the audio and in the video of this particular episode. So what else do we got to plug? Instagram, at weebology.podcast. We got memes on news, whenever we can get those out in this isolation situation. Drop us a line on our email, weebologypodcast@gmail.com. Our list is ever growing to the point where me and Ethan had to keep a Google Doc, or we're going to lose some of them, but we are getting through those. And also, lastly, today marks me and Ethan's 1-year anniversary, and we're going to have an episode about it, I think, in the coming days. So thank you sincerely from the bottom of my and Ethan's heart, everyone who has jumped on the Weebology bandwagon, come to class over this last year. And here's to many more years of educating y'all students. So I think that's really it. I'm Ricky, that was Ethan, and this has been Weebology. Deuces! Woo!